Hello everyone, this is CodeDrumRoll5 and welcome back to Train Terms Talk Show for episode 4 here. Today we are talking about the Dash 7 series made by General Electric in the early 80s. So guys, sorry I haven't made a Train Terms Talk Show episode in it's been about almost a month because recently I have started school and I haven't had much time to edit, but now we are back with another episode. There won't be very many Train Terms Talk Show episodes. Well, I mean, like, there is going to be a lot, just not posted very much, just not very much posted, because I started school. Yep. And if you care, I'm a freshman. Yeah, that's about it anyway. So, let's get started with as we're talking about the General Electric Dash 7 series.
Well, anyway, what is the GE-7 series? Well, in 1977, General Electric produced the first Dash 7 locomotive. It was called the GE B-23-7. The Southern Pacific locomotive you see on your screen is what the B-23-7 looked like. Production ended in 1984. The B indicates that the locomotive has 4 axles. The 23 means the locomotive has 2,300 horsepower, and the dash into 7 means that it's a Dash 7 locomotive. The next Dash 7 locomotive that we were going to talk about was built in 1978, between 1978 and 1979, and the locomotive is the GE BQ-23-7. Yeah, it was only built between 1978 and 1979. It died in like 1 year. I mean, look at how hideous that thing is. What the crap is that? Is that some locomotive made by aliens or something? My gosh, that is ugly. Well, at least it's not as bad as the Siemens Chargers and the ACS-64. Okay, back to what I was saying. So, there are not very many of these locomotives built. These are like ultra rare, because since they were so ugly, they were only able to make not very many. So, the B indicates the locomotive has 4 axles. The Q mean that it's crew. The Q stands for crew quarters. The 23 means the locomotive has 2,300 horsepower, and the Dash 7 meaning it's a Dash 7 locomotive. Oh, this thing is so ugly. Then, in 1979, General Electric had built another locomotive. The locomotive that they made was a GE B30-7. This locomotive was built in 1979. This locomotive was basically an upgraded version of the B23-7. More horsepower was added to the locomotive, but that's about it for this upgrade. The B indicates the locomotive has 4 axles. The 30 indicates the locomotive has 3,000 horsepower instead of 2,300. The Dash 7 means that it's a Dash 7 locomotive. Fun fact is, there is also a cabless version of the GE B30-7. Burlington Northern, Southern Pacific, Cotton Belt, Norfolk Southern, and Providence and Worcester were the only railroads to have ever purchased a cabless B30-7. In the same year, 1979, later on, General Electric had produced another locomotive called the GE B30-7A. The difference between the B30-7 and the B30-7A is that the B30-7 has direct current traction, but the B30-7A has alternating current traction, which is what the A indicates to the locomotive, that the locomotive has alternating current tractions. There are no differences between the outside. The only difference is one has direct current traction and the other has alternating current traction. Another fact is, there is also a cabless version of the B30-7A as well. Same railroads use them. Norfolk Southern, Burlington Northern, Cotton Belt, Southern Pacific, and Providence and Worcester. were the only railroads to ever buy the cabless version of the GE B30-7A. Later on, in 1986, General Electric had produced a 6-axle version of the GE B30-7. This locomotive is called the GE C30-7. The C indicating the locomotive has 6 axles, the 30 indicating the locomotive has 3,000 horsepower, and the dash 7 indicating that it's a dash 7 locomotive. However, though, there is no cabless version for the GE C30-7. Only dash 7 locomotives that have a cabless version are the GE B30-7 and GE B30-7A. However, though, General Electric did make an alternating current traction version of the GE C30-7, which is called, you guessed it, the GE C30-7A. Yes, A indicates the same thing. This locomotive was also built in the same year as the C30-7 locomotive. A few years later on, after the GE C30-7A was built, General Electric upgraded the B30-7 and added 600 more horsepower to it, which is now the B36-7. The B means the locomotive has 4 axles, 36 means the locomotive has 3,600 horsepower, the dash 7 means that it's a dash 7 locomotive. Also, another thing is, there is no alternating current traction version of the GE B36-7. And now, the 8th and final dash 7 locomotive that General Electric made was the GE C36-7. The C indicates the locomotive has 6 axles, 36 indicates the locomotive has 3,600 horsepower. The dash 7 indicates that it's a dash 7 locomotive. Unfortunately, most of the dash 7 locomotives have retired, and they are now rare. And later on, the dash 8 series took over the dash 7 series, which we will get to in the next episode of Train Terms Talk Show. Everyone, this is Cold Drummer 05, now signing out. Thank you all for watching the 4th episode of Train Terms Talk Show. Don't forget, next time we will talk about the Dash 8 series and maybe even the Dash 9 series as well. And a lot more episodes to come in the future.